Hi students, we have already discussed about the Indian administration. In this Indian administration, we discussed around 57 lessons altogether. This talk is going to be a brief review and giving a brief picture for you what exactly we discussed in the lessons. Indian administration. This is about a simply we can there are a different type of even questions areas related to what is Indian administration. India, some people say India is only after 1947. This is a discussion among the various historians also. Before that it was the British India, before that it was the Mughal India, before that it was the princely states. But whereas now we talk of Indian administration means it is in India much before Christ, BC we talk of. This is a Chandragupta Maurya and before much of that Ashoka and all. Because this was a continuous journey of India from a particular time, the polity, system, administration, rules, kingdoms, changes, all these things are happened from last 2500 years plus. Now, we talk of ancient administration in India. Ancient administration in India, it starts with actually, we basically will take with though there were Vedas, there were Upanishads, there are other things of it, but still we will talk with Kautilya's Arthashastra is one of the important things. That is why I said about 2400, 2500 years of history. With this Kautilya's Arthashastra having a different type of a chapters, Prakaranas, Adhikaranas in Kautilya's Arthashastra. Basically, he discussed about administration and other things of a politics only in 5.5 chapters only. Rest of things are a different type of areas, how to spying, how to do the thing, a different type of model. We are not much interested, but it was related to at that time how it was useful for the king and others. Basically concentrated king. King is given by a god. He has given about a divine authority to him to accept king is a king, Divodasa, first king, that is all. He is the king and given by the god and things will go on. So, etcetera, it started and he has created about a judicial system, he created a revenue system, a personal system and how the king has to work on, what type of values king has to do, some ethical values even for the judiciaries, how you recruit the bureaucracy, how you recruit about people to the palace. These are the fundamental issues as discussed in that particular book, and it definitely, it was a visionary has written useful for the future. Now, you read it, some of the parts of it, you feel how he has discussed all these things. He says if somebody dies as an employee, the government has to pay the pension for the family members and also pay that funeral charges, then only these people will be very loyal to the state. How to maintain all these things, though these are some important aspects of the ancient administration in India. One of the best example was Kautilya's Arthashastra, we can understand it, that is the first part of it. After a particular time, Sultanate kingdoms have come, Muhammad bin Tughlaq and all. By 1000 AD, Sultanates they started, the Lodis and different type of groups, but ultimately it started with the Mughals. The 15th century onwards, a Babur came. So, Babur and even in a Panipat and entered into India, he started about Babur to Aurangzeb. It was the Mughal rule in India. So, at this time they established a kingdom from top to down. There was they controlled Rajputs, they controlled Marathas, they controlled even South India, Golconda and other things, but how they did it? The credit will go to Sahanshah Suri. He has created about a revenue administration in it. Though it was discussed about Kautilya's Arthashastra, which was followed not exactly on a paper what is the things that happened, but Shershah Suri onwards, the measurement of a land in India was taken place in particularly and was controlled by late Raja Todarmal in Akbar time and later also Shah Jahan. They followed the same method. So, land first time a land measured, how much agriculture will take place, what things happen, where are the people, how they are settled. Whereas, in a Kautilya time the people were asked to settle in forests. For that he said this tree and this tree, these are going to be the boundaries of a particular village. Even now what we can call is a Gram Devata, the village deities under the small tree, that big trees is the borders. It was created by the Kautilya at that time. They say these small gods are going to protect you. Now, at the same time the Mughal administration also has continued with up to village level. They have their own judicial system, though it is an Islamic rule and Islamic law judiciary systems also, and they maintained one type of a district administration system also. And the military, they have a Mansabdar system. So, military head has given some land and other things, he has to collect the taxes and pay to the government. So, a different type of administrative system and judiciary etc. was created in India in the Mughal time. After the Mughal time, then at the Jahangir time, the first time the western people have started, the foreigners have started coming to India, it has continued further, and Shah Jahan time and Aurangzeb time, slowly East India Company entered into India in the name of a business, in the name of doing the things. They started slowly occupying the various parts, and they say particularly about three important things: Kolkata, Mumbai and Maslipatnam in Andhra, but later they shifted to Chennai, Chennapatnam, whatever they call. So, these three are important areas, three things taken by the East India Company. Slowly they developed their empire. In 1857, the people fought against of the Britain, that what we can call is the first revolution or about Sipahi mutiny in India. Then 1958 onwards, India entered into the British India under the rule of the Queen Victoria. This was another thing till 1947, 1858 to 1947, another 90 years a British rule was there in India altogether. What was the British rule created? As a students of public administration, historical aspects were 1909 Act, 1919 Act, 1935 Act, 1947 Act. We read about 1909 Minto Marley, the first time they are talking about Indian system, how they are going to rule India, a provinces, provincial administration. That is next 1919 Act, Mantek-Chelmsford Act. There was the two assemblies at the central level and the local level, provincial rules and the provincial things were created, powers are distributed. Then it has come 1935 Act, where whatever we are talking 1935 Act, almost the draft Indian constitution was 1935 Act. 1935 Act was little bit advanced and developed, and which was called as an Indian constitution later, but the major part was written as in the part of 1935 Act. In this between 1935 Act and other things, some of the credit will go to Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, who actually worked with the British people to establish some of the institutions in India. Then whether you talk of Finance Commission, whether you talk of a Union Public Service Commission, whether we talk about a center-state relations, whether you talk of a Reserve Bank and different type of projects in India, irrigation projects like a Damodar Valley project and 8 hours work for the men and women, different salaries for the men and women who are working on all these type of things. So, etc. was created under the British rule. This 1935 Act and 1947, this was a British rule was created in India, and a different type of institutions were constitutionally established. 1935 Act was constitution, 1919 Act also, these helped. Then 3 round table conferences which taken place. So, how to give the power to India, whether it is a Dominican Republic or a full republic, what to do, what not to do, because 500 plus of a princely states are there were there at that time. Some people are ready to join, some people are not ready to join. So, these type of things, Lord Mountbatten, different pacts we discuss as a part of British administration. Then 1947 August 15 we got a power, we got an independence. 1950 January 26 we approved a constitution. From there India has become a democratic India. At that time the people say how the India is going to be sustained. But one after another there were a different type of steel people, iron people we call like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who convinced one way to all princely states to join in India, but at the same time he threatened some of the states like Hyderabad state and Junagadh and other places, even in Jodhpur. These princely states have created a little bit of a problems here and there. Ultimately everybody has agreed to be part of India. So, Indian administration was a long history of up to 1950 from before Maurya's whatever we can call is Kautilya's Arthashastra. After independence, 15th August 1947, 1950 January 26, Indian Constitution. Then India is a constitutional democratic republic. But still, India was facing a lot of problems at that time. It was a new country came to the power, and India was divided into Pakistan and Hindustan like two different countries. A lot of people are migrating from here to there. These are the one side problems. A different type of a princely states having a different rule in India, they are sometimes accepting, some things are not accepting. People are ready to join with an Indian system, but whoever the old rulers and other things are there, there were some other problems. But still, India now from last 77 years, whatever we can call now, by this time 76 completed years, established a parliamentary democracy. How it is possible? So, it was we have a parliamentary democracy, a parliament at the central level, assemblies at the state level. India was having another important problem that a different type of religions, a major part of Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism. If you think of these, India was a birthplace of a different religions like Hinduism, Sikhism and Jainism, Buddhism. So, a different type of a cultural context also was there in Indian system. Then we have a different people, language people. Officially we identified 22 languages and another 1500 different languages the people are speaking. Some have the script, some are not having the script. We have another important problem is that around 3600 communities are a caste, which again in one state it was one caste is in a backward class, one is in a forward caste or a scheduled caste. In another state one is a scheduled tribe, in another state it is backward class. A different type of a complex system was working in India, even now it is there, but still parliamentary democracy has given in India a different type of a fillip and it has established. How it is there? We have India as a union of states one way as per the constitution, but in reality we follow model of a federation. Federation is not at all a one important aspect that whatever it is not like an American federation or a Russian federation. We have a different type of a federation system. What is that? The federation system actually we talk one state government, one central government, but state also having a powers. Ultimately central power is authority, central systems are on a dominant things. We have a judiciary, state judiciary and central judiciary, high courts are there, supreme courts are there. We have a different type of a things. So, whenever we talk of a federation, we follow federation principles in practice, but in reality constitution it is a union of states. States has to follow ultimately central authority, central things are there. President of India elected by the state assemblies and also both houses of the parliament. The prime minister elected by the parliament, the majority party ruler will become the prime minister. Majority party whoever come to the power, their leader will become the prime minister. Slowly the prime minister has become an icon of India, even for a common people, even to the world also. This is also has started in Indian politics, one of the important thing. President of India has to follow whatever the cabinet approves and do the things. We respect the President of India as the first citizen of the country, and ultimately his and her signature is the ultimate authority as an act of anything. So, a parliament, a president, a prime minister, elections for every 5 years, a cabinet has all the time having about a support from the Lok Sabha and Lok Sabha only, whoever the majority party in the Lok Sabha will continue in the power. Every 5 years elections are a compulsory, we have a central election commission, and these are the compulsory things which has created about a parliamentary democracy to establish successfully in India. With this we have a powerful strong steel frame bureaucracy, IAS officers, IPS officers, central service officers and IFS officers selected from the public like in a representative bureaucracy representing the following a different type of reservations. These people write an exam every year, conducted by the Union Public Service Commission, a constitutional body, select them, train them and give it to the various states. And they will become the cadre of that particular state, though they have come. A person may come from Arunachal Pradesh, but he will become a cadre in Telangana or a Bihar or in a Tamil Nadu or in a Gujarat, whichever the part of it. This type of a steel frame bureaucracy, which is a basis for continuing Indian democracy, Indian administration as a tight and showing a different type of a result to the world. Then we have established about a secretariats, central secretariat, cabinet secretariat, there is a prime minister office. We have discussed about all these things, how their relations are continued, how their things are happened about. Then different type of a ministries, we have a cabinet committees. Along with this, Indian administration in India has gone through a different type of a social context. Whenever an administration, we discussed in the paper 1, it has to work on the context, social context, political context and an economic context. If economy, how the things are happening. Now, India is a dominant economy in the world. We want to become a third, to be coming by 2030 or like that, we are planning for it. Until unless you grow industrially, revolution has created a lot of benefits to us. India is a very good in technology, software and computer systems, exporting various things to the world. Slowly, India has become a dominant economic giant, maintaining peacefully of the country and the various states and all. These are the important economic aspects which has taken place. Reserve Bank of India, which controls the currency value and other things. Finance Commission, which actually give the powers between the state and centers. All these type of things created a powerful India as a parliamentary democratic system in the world. Political context, from top to down, elections are taking place every 5 years. There is no little bit of a dictatorship models have come in between, but still Indian people rejected about all these things. So, political context, various political parties are registered with election commission. We are conducting elections for every 5 years. There were reservations for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in parliaments and Lok Sabha and up to the village level. So, this type of a democratic system and democratic things and a political context is happening. Social context of Indian administration, we discuss about education, how the education systems are improving, because Indian system was a different type of a caste based and dominant religion based systems. Now, families are divided, now nuclear families are emerging up, education people migration to the urban areas are which are coming very heavily, and once people are coming heavy and they are settling down in the urban populations, now we have almost about 8 metros which are reaching almost 1 crore population. So, a different type of a social gathering systems are coming up and people are coming out of some of the caste boundaries and other things. Still there are some problems here and there, but these are some important issues of the context of administration whenever we talk. Government of India is following about a reservation system, the states also following reservation systems for the backward classes and other communities and groups. Women reservations were implemented even in the jobs and other thing, but not in political system, but even a civil service and other parts of it, it is happening up. These about the social, political, economic context of Indian administration along with a clear cut parliamentary democracy. It is not that much easy to come out of the parliamentary democracy and to be do that things. Along with this, the states are developing, and also one important aspect is Indian administration base is district administration. Almost about 726 districts are there at present in all over the country. In a state government, again a governor is there, is the first citizen of a particular state, he or she. Then same whatever the things follow at the central level between parliament and president, in the same with assembly and the governor. There is a chief secretary and the secretariat, various departments and ministries are divided. All these things are happening in the state level. State administrators also very powerful. Some of the states advanced a lot, like some South Indian states are contributing a lot to the national income like Telangana, like Karnataka, like Tamil Nadu, like Kerala. These are the 4 states contributing a lot along with Maharashtra and Gujarat, advanced in industries and other things. So, slowly the country's annual income and other things per capita levels are increasing at various places. States are advancing a lot, particularly you think of education level. A lot of technical education is taking place. 15 lakh students are coming from engineering background every year from these 4 states. 2 lakh students are going to foreign countries to study every year minimum for all these things, for particularly for technical education, medical education, etc., etc. Then this advancement of states, generating income, providing job opportunities, all the part of the state administration. Then come to the district administration. We started district administration in 1772. At the time, the Britishers, particularly the East India Company, thought it is compulsory required about a district. Is a district collector. Collector is a collection. What collection? Revenue collection. And a district collector was having a law and order situation under his control. He was a king at that time, district collector. Even now, we can think of that district collector having an ultimate powers and decisions can take in his particular area, operating administrative area. This district administration 1772 till now, though the districts are there in other parts of the world in other countries, but Indian districts are completely different. Here district collector almost is a king, is a prince there, though controlled by the secretaries, controlled by the chief secretary, controlled by the government and etc. But the collector is an important man, is an agent of a development, is a people friend personality. He is the man actually to conduct elections. He is the man represents government to deal with all issues of a common man. Whatever the development programs, he is the person who is going to do the things. So, this is a district administration, one of the important and crucial point for Indian administrative system. Along with this, we have a local government systems have come up, though we have about a previously even in Kautilya's Arthashastra we talk of a local administration, but in India after the independence the first was Balwantrai Mehta committee and second was then Ashok Mehta committees was constituted. They created about a Panchayati Raj system. It shown that one type of a local democracy at village level, let even a village also have a democracy, elected people, local representative, ward members, sarpanches, gram pradhans. Even in a municipalities, let the ward members, again a municipal chairman. If it is at big towns or cities are there, it is a mayor and ward members, corporators. So, etc. A different type of a democratic system, administrative systems are created. Then there was some problems between first Balwantrai Mehta committee, then Ashok Mehta committee, then it was there second generation panchayats of a 3 different type, Andhra model, Karnataka model, West Bengal model. Then afterwards in 1991, then Government of India decided about a 73rd, 74th constitutional amendments. So, 73rd, 74th constitutional amendment has given a constitutional guarantee for the local democracy. Then with this, now every 5 years you have to conduct elections, otherwise Government of India will not give the money. It was not like that. Nobody know when they are going to be conduct elections in rural areas and urban areas. Now things are clear. There is a state election commission, constitutional body. Then we have a state finance commission, is another constitutional body to divide the resources between the state and municipalities, state and villages, etc. A state election commission will conduct elections even for the wards and other things, a constitutional body. Reservations for the women, reservations for the OBCs, reservations for the SC, STs, all these things were created in the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts. There are 29 different type of powers given in the 73rd Constitutional Amendment, 18 powers were given in the 74th Constitutional Amendment, particularly to this thing. Then there is a small problem is arising, some of the states are transferring these powers to villages and municipalities, but some of the states are not doing this. there was a different type of things. There was an examples of some model of Telangana and model of West Bengal, in some model of Madhya Pradesh, etc. have taken up some giving powers complete, almost all powers giving to the panchayats and municipalities. But in some of the states, they have this type of a local democracy, whatever we are thinking, this transfer of powers has not taken place. The point is, this is again a political issue. If everything is given to the local things, the MLA will think that tomorrow a local sarpanch or a local mandal president or a ZP chairman will become a powerful man and fight against him politically. This is one of the practical problem related with 73rd, 74 Amendment Acts. One, states also not giving the money to panchayats and also towns and municipalities, though Government of India distributing the powers as part of the finance commissions are concerned. So, this is 73rd, 74th and the local bodies, so district administration and all these things in Indian administration is one of the important milestone, how the democracy and administrative system democratically working from top to down. Each municipality headed by a commissioner rather than a mayor and other things. And there is a lot of migration is taking place to the nowadays to the metros are concerned. Almost about recent data show, for every 1 hour 35 to 40 families are migrating to municipalities in India. Urban population is increasing. By 2030, we are going to become 50% of the urban population. India so far not living in villages. India is now going to live in only in urban areas. These type of things are coming up. Then a different problems are growing, a different type of urban unrest, unemployment, housing problem, drainage problem, a different type of environmental problems and traffic and transport problems. All these things are going up because the people are going to live in the, particularly in the metro cities. They are not coming to the second cities, they are coming to the first cities. So, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai, it was, we are talking about this from a last 70 years, but now a new turn has come. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Ahmedabad, they knew another 4 metros have developed like anything. So, these are the Indian administration at present facing this type of a problems also, because of the new changes are taking place in the social systems. New changes are taking place in administrative systems. Suddenly we plan for 5 years, but within 5 years we are thinking that the population will increase only 10 lakhs, but every year 10 lakhs are adding to some of the metro cities. So, automatically housing is a problem, water is problem, providing a water, you have to pump the water from various places, but some of the cities are developing metros and all these part of administration. Indian administration at this stage and at this level, taking care of the state administration one way, district administration another way and about local administration other thing. If you are not following these type of a democratic systems, and people are going to be, unrest is going to be increased and people may fight against of the existing political systems and all. That is why a district planning committees have created to identify how to do the things in particularly various plans, housings are there and roads are there, what type of developments we are going to create for the common things. So, it is in a active and dynamic administration working from bottom to the top in India after independence. So, after reviewing all these things, we are looking of a different institutions and their working. Union Public Service Commission conducting examinations and various things, recruiting the civil servants, transferring them to the various states, training them, all this one activity. Central Finance Commission for every 5 years constituted by the government, and this Central Finance Commission will take care of the distribution of resources between the states and center, how much percentage, what is the revenue is coming, how to distribute, which is the backward states, how to take care of them. Along with this, we created about a National Commission of Human Rights and Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is another important planning for the future, how transparent, accountable government has to be there, what is going to be the agenda for next 30 years, next 20 years, and what is a particular problem in a particular area, how to deal it. all these are a different type of issues which are emerging, and alternatively institutions which are working. And one of the important aspect is that we have created a Right to Information Act in the transparency. In the Right to Information Act, everybody, and this government, whatever generally we think of a bureaucracy means, it is a secrecy will work. Now it is not like that, everything is open, every citizen has a right to know what is happening. This has its own pros and cons and type of a little bit of a problematic things also happening up in one way, but still Right to Information Act is working in India, and authorities and bureaucracy little bit worried about it also. We have to be careful. This is where this is in their mind, that they have to be careful in dealing with the various operations of it. And administrative reforms, which started with Gopalaswamy Iyengar in the 1948. Then Indianization of bureaucracy at the time, it was ICS, Indian Civil Service. It has to become IAS, Indian Administrative Service. So this services systems, Gopalaswamy Iyengar is the first person. Later we have an administrative reforms, first administrative reforms commission. Then we have a second administrative reform commission, but the Veerappa, which submitted about 15 reports. In between we were having about a constitutional review commission, and what type of things to be added or changed if the Indian constitution is concerned. So these type of administrative reforms is one important aspect. Previously we used to have citizen administrative systems, Lokpal and Lokayukta. Lokpal, yes, now at the central level Lokpal is working. We have taken it from the Sweden, Finland, Denmark models and implemented in various parts of the country, world, and also in India, the Lokpal. Lokayuktas were created for the state as per the first administrative reforms commission. Citizen administration, wherever citizens are facing a problem with administration, then they can go and say is a Lokpal and Lokayukta. It means a citizens friendly aspect. These things are started, and National Human Rights Commission. The theory of governance we discuss all the time, rule of law and human rights. Wherever the rule of law is there, then automatically there was problems of human rights, not all the time, but somebody has to protect it. Human beings' rights has to be there. I have to see, as a human being on this earth you have some rights. As a citizen, rights are different, human being rights are different. Citizen rights given by a constitution, human being rights, as a human being you have a right. So how to protect these human rights? There were some issues, and alternative solutions were given by the Indian administration systems are concerned. Then you have a legislative control in a parliament and other thing. Opposition members can raise a questions. We have a token cut motions, 100 rupees cut motion for the budget is concerned. 0 hour, any important public issue is an important thing has happened. Immediately one of the member can raise these issues. There is a 0 hour in the parliament. But we are seeing a lot of noises in assemblies and parliament, boycotts in assemblies and parliament. Ultimately, after, instead of the discussion as a fruitful discussion and giving an answer by the government and questions, instead of that, all the time political parties are interested, let us say having some fight and some other thing, let us say close the business. This is some of the unfortunate trends happening up. With this real legislative control, which practically is not there. The judicial control is one of the important aspect of Indian constitution. You have habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, and various writs. The various writs, a writ has given a right to a common man, go to the court and ask, this is what a government is doing, I want a writ on it. This is my house, their constructed house is there, then they are demolishing, even though I have all permissions. So writs are going to protect a common man, an immediate judicial remedy, because what is happening is, if you go to the court, it will take years together, but immediate judicial remedy and judicial activism. Sometimes judges themselves are asking, after reading the newspaper, if this is happening, or a common man with a newspaper item can submit to the court and say, what is this happening? So judicial activism is one of the important aspect in India. So judicial control, legislative control, citizen control, all these are the some important things. Later after RTI, we introduced another important aspect is social audit. So, social audit as of now, some of the social audit systems are, what is a social audit? A village panchayat budget is there. Who has to see? A Gram Sabha has a very right to see the budget. What is the budget allocation? What is the expenditure? What is things happen in a particular village, in a particular municipality, in a particular district. So, this is after 73rd, 74th amendments have come, social audit has started by NGOs are doing, civil society organizations are doing. I have every right to look into the government systems, audit by the public. This one of the important aspect has created. Now, some of the states have created a very good acts on it. Meghalaya social audit system and the people's audit system, so far the people, various people mentioned it is one of the best in the country, the social audit systems. And we created about a citizen charters. Under the citizen charters, how much time it will take for you if you go to a municipal office, apply for a birth certificate, how many days it will take. This is actually taken from a Malaysian client charter. The British government first introduced, from there it has come to various parts of the world. So, citizen charter, how much time it will take? It has to be mentioned on the wall. I applied for a birth certificate, 1 day, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. Otherwise, whatever money you have paid, it has to come to you. So, that is why the people will give a message to you, it is under process, it takes this much of a time. Even in a government systems, even a post office systems also. If you are applying, you are posting in a speed post letter, you will get a message and by this time it has reached. All these are citizen friendly administrative angles which are created into the Indian administration and citizen acts. Now, from there we have come to the digital governance systems. 2000 to 2020, this is another transformation of electronic governance systems in India. One started by the Bhumi project of Karnataka, which was the first one, measured the land and whose land is, how much it is there. Previously, a huge revenue systems and other things have completely has come down to a digitalized totally. Dharani is another model of state of Telangana, which has come now. So, Bhumi is Kaveri is in Karnataka. The various states started about all these things, but ultimately e-governance now from secretariat, from district offices to it has reached to the agriculture land, even a village level, village gram panchayat also. So, this type of a e-governance system, digital governance, now the simple applying for a passport in urban things that they are doing in a smartphones. Once your smartphone, we are talking about internet connectivity, how speed it is, how access it is, how much is the payment it is. One study says at all the time 27 crores of Indian population is on internet at any time of the point is concerned. And developing of a active civil societies. Now, we have a civil society organization, NGOs, non-government organizations. Rajasthan, the civil society organization activity only in Rajasthan has given up RTI Act, Aruna Rai and other things. The people are asking for all these new thing. In some states, health rights are given about. So, health is not going to be a cost for the common man. It has to be, it is a right, government duty to provide the health, hospitalization and health. Some European countries, American countries, they will take a lot of insurance and they provide health very almost free of cost. But whereas in India, still it's health is in some of the states, it's a problematic thing. But slowly it has become health is right. So, these are all the issues of the public administration, and wherever there is an issues are arising in Indian administration, the new institutions are given by the government and that institutions are solving the problems for it. So, as a student, these are some important areas of the Indian administration wherever in our 57 lessons we discussed, and I hope it is going to be useful a lot. Thank you.